Welcome to the Simple Minds podcast, where six mates unpack three topics over a new drink each week. Fuck it, just go with that. We'll fix it if it's... Okay, welcome to episode 23. Full house this week after a few weeks of mixing and matching and absences.
Welcome back, Journey fellows.
Thank you. I think I've had 3 weeks off. Yeah, cool. So to my left, Travis Hayto.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Which episode 19 is out today, and you did a fantastic job hosting that one, mate. So pressure's on, I feel, for me today.
It did take 2 takes, though.
I wasn't aware.
That was not my fault in the slightest. I nailed both takes.
Whose fault is it? I mean, are you taking ownership or not?
Don't blame Travis.
Then
It was
following round,
IT department on that one.
following round, we got Justin Bourn,
What's up?
Matt Hanham,
Hello.
Swaggy C, Conrad Francis.
How the hell is that coming to the stuff?
It's everywhere.
I don't know, mate.
G'day.
Own it.
And Mike Duncan.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
Accent was that?
West Indian. Are we still doing
West
intros?
Indian.
Like, we still...
You
like
nailed it.
Bagels.
You nailed the intros last time.
What's your wire, Marco?
Or what? Yeah, I actually...
Hang on, that's all.
No, I was in the shower listening to this episode and you were getting roasted on your why, and I was like, oh God, I hope they don't do the same to me. And yeah, it's happened. I don't have
The roasting hasn't happened just yet.
I don't have a good one yet.
Give us your 2 minutes.
My 2 minutes. I am an engineer currently working for Shell, and I do that part-time 3 days a week. And on the side of that, I have started getting into videography. That's where I want to take the rest of my life. And I'm investing all of my spare time, spare energy into developing my skills in that, finding cool little projects such as one's doing videography for a semi-pro basketball team that Travis, who's on the podcast, and Conrad play for. And
Travis
well,
play for Conrad.
Conrad coaches.
It's like, kind of like the movie Semi-Pro.
Which one's Wolf?
We're actually going to wrestle with a bear next week.
That's me in a nutshell, really.
It's Conrad the bear.
Today on content we have Matt Hanham and Justin Bourn. We're going to kick it off with Matt. But before we get to that, we are going to pour the drinks today.
I think we're thirsty.
And
It's been a long week.
Honestly, it should have been a white chocolate liqueur rather than champagne.
Was it champagne or was it sparkling?
No, this is champagne.
Good man.
This was a bottle of champagne that a senior of mine gave to me when I joined the grad program at Shell. And it had just been sitting on the cabinet there for ages, so I thought we'd crack it open today. And it is champagne. Moet Chandon.
Moet.
Jeez, are we privileged?
Well, I thought we'd get the bubbly out because you guys did such a good job at continuing the tradition of saying champagne at the end of every episode in my absence. I thought, well, you know what?
Let's bring it.
Let's do it. Let's actually have some champagne. Because, Conrad, I think, did you bring champagne once or was it sparkling that we...
Mate, I don't drink sparkling, dude.
Oh, what? You know, for someone that's so stoic, you're also so precious about bullshit like that. You're like, oh, I don't drink sparkling, mate.
I love champagne. The rest of it's pretend.
Wasn't that the episode that he plugged his friend like 12 times?
Oh, that's right,
And
yes.
I did get some more free bottles, so I'm okay. Thanks very much.
Which we haven't seen yet, obviously.
Hey, come to my office. They're sitting there.
Oh, nice.
Nice and warm.
now.
The next time you want to bring them in.
Oh, yeah, room temperature champagne.
They were room temperature.
Anybody
Cheers.
got any history on this champagne? Know anything
It's
deep
Moet.
about Moet?
No, actually, but I did look up a cool little fact about champagne,
Whoa.
which was that, well, I don't know how reliable this source is because I literally
Thanks,
just
Marco.
Googled.
It's obviously,
Cheers.
it's obviously a special bottle.
I literally just Googled interesting things about champagne, and and the first thing that came up was that it was invented by a monk called Dom
Yep.
Perignon.
Dom Perignon, which I didn't know actually. So you guys knew that.
Yep.
Therefore,
I'm the
I've
champagne
been
expert.
good.
No,
And
well,
champagne,
else?
champagne
It's an expensive
is
brand.
made in, so not wineries, so champagne is made in houses of champagne.
Okay.
And there's a number of houses of champagne in France. And obviously Dom Perignon being the first house of champagne.
Yep.
Is it Moet?
I used to know this. I think it's Moe. But
No way.
It's got an accent on it.
no, actually, I always forget.
Not
but
Australia.
no.
Should we just call it Mo because we shorten everything?
No.
Mo.
All I know for sure is that it's not Moe. So it's either Moe or Moet. I can't remember if you do, because there's something about the 2 dots over the E that either means that you do or don't pronounce the T.
You don't pronounce the T.
You don't? Are you 100%?
I'm 99% sure.
Are you sure?
That's not
Yeah,
100.
I'm going to
I've
look
got
it up.
money
If
in
you're
my
wrong,
wallet.
I'm going to call you out
I
on
put
it.
money on it.
Anyway,
Always put money.
That doesn't mean you're 100% sure.
No, I'm not, but I'm taking the bet.
cool. So let's come back to that at the end anyway. Maddie, let's kick it off.
Yes, content time. So, look, Swaggy's spoken a lot lately around self-love and in a lot of different contexts, some probably repeatable for children and many others.
Most
Not. But, I heard an interesting line, I saw an interesting line in a Will Smith, I think it was just in a video that came up this week. And for those of you that haven't seen Will Smith's epic jump into digital and social media with his vlogging, I would definitely recommend checking him out. But it was just a really short, sharp line, and I thought that'd be really cool to bring up with the crew and see what we thought about the very simple statement that self-discipline is the definition of self-love.
I listened to that this morning. Did you read that somewhere?
Did I read it somewhere?
Yeah, I listened to a video about him speaking of that this morning.
Yeah, I saw it on a video. It's on one of his vlogs. And at some point, halfway in, he just said, self-discipline is the
Yeah.
definition of self-love.
And I said, I was going to say, I wanted to bring that up today myself, so there you go.
Did you really?
That means synchronicities.
So, I mean, I guess to bring some context, or I guess what I thought about it. You know what? I'm not going to do that.
Can you finish or do you have the rest of what he said about that? Because he talked about self-discipline being how, doing things for yourself, right? Which is in honour of yourself, which means you have to love yourself.
Correct. That's basically the line he was talking. No, I didn't take any further note. I just thought that was enough.
I was in the shower, so that went to memory.
Okay.
You're watching a video in the shower.
That went to memory. So Rain Man over here remembered the 3 lines in the shower. And it's committed to memory. So no, look, anyways, if someone else has something to add. Self-discipline is the definition of self-worth. Before I jump into, I guess, my thoughts.
Self-worth or self-love?
Sorry, self-love.
Self-definition is the discipline of...
I love you.
The problem is I'm reading this out of a Slack channel, which is just loaded with all this information in front of me, and I'm reading the wrong thing. Self-discipline is the definition of self-love. And over to Mike.
Oh, what I was going through my head when you'd said it was trying to reverse it. Maybe self-love creates discipline. I don't know. But that was in my head as I was sort of trying to work out something interesting to say. So I don't know what comes first.
Right?
What
discipline is the action.
Yeah.
So the action is predicated on the virtue or the value.
That's what I was saying.
So
Then.
the
So maybe
value
the
is love, right?
self-love creates the self-discipline.
No. So self-love creates discipline. You're right. And
Yeah,
then the discipline services the love.
Yeah. So they kind of work. They strengthen each other. Yeah. But I think self-love, I was going to say, is maybe the first part of it to get to self-discipline.
Yeah, I think
Thoughts?
you probably look at that in a lot of ways. I mean, I think it's chicken or egg, same thing. I think both would feed off each other, but I guess the concept of the two being linked together, one being action and obviously one being a sentiment, a feeling,
Well, it echoes something actually I brought up of late, which is from Jocko Willink, and he makes the statement or claim one of his philosophies is discipline equals freedom.
Okay.
And which is more of a link back to our business, like internally my team, we've been talking to this element of, it's a little bit of a side lane to what you're talking about, but in that discipline or / framework, habits or constraint actually gives you, so having constraints and framework or habits or rituals actually give you more freedom, which I guess if we were to roundabout way, is discipline one of the core fundamentals to enable self-love, to enable freedom, great life?
If procrastination is obviously where the ego plays, then discipline and taking action would feed the higher purpose, which would serve your soul. Would it not?
So it's one of the paths to self-love,
Yeah. Well,
or one of the frameworks.
because we talk about taking action a lot, right? I mean that's the entrepreneurial journey. We're not just a collection of ideas. We actually take an idea and put it into action, right?
But this is so to broaden the context, I suppose. One example might be someone who's binge eating is not.
They don't love themselves.
They don't love themselves, so they'll go and they'll binge eat, or they'll drink to excess, or something. That's like, so. There's a lot of food, health, diet. There's many different.
Which is the same thing we talked about yesterday, right? At our breakfast when we talked about fear. If you want to propagate and talk about fear, then how can you actually love yourself? Oh, come on, don't go quiet on me now.
No, I'm not going quiet. I think that's a further extension.
That's the same thing, man.
It's the same thing, but
if you allow yourself to believe in that stuff, how do you actually honour yourself anywhere near enough?
You're pretty much on the line of alchemy at that point. If to be fair, if you're talking about,
Well, that's what do you think self-love is?
I think
to allow yourself to break away from the lead, you have to love yourself.
There's a big stretch from the practical, like don't eat that cheeseburger because you love yourself. To I'm not going to touch any fear in my life. I'm going to walk on water like Swaggy C.
It's not. It's not about walking on water. It's about having a fucking crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's
I'm still struggling. I don't get the sentence.
You don't get the
Read
sentence?
it again. Read it again.
Okay, so self-discipline is the definition of self-love.
What was the context he said?
Well, so one of the contexts is health, for example. So yeah, someone that doesn't love themselves might eat poorly because they don't actually love themselves. So they're doing things to
or not exercise.
They're sabotaging themselves, for example, right? So it's saying that if you love yourself and you're comfortable with yourself, you won't do and take these actions that will actually hurt you, hurt your body, hurt your mindset, and everything in between. So if you do love yourself, you'll be more inclined to eat better, meditate, exercise regularly, look after yourself, all these things in that personal context. But same with career, same with any old activity. If you didn't love yourself, you might not take a chance to try and switch career and vocation like you've done or are working on at the moment. You wouldn't allow that to... you wouldn't make those choices and take those chances for yourself.
Mm. Okay.
Does that make sense? I've got a definition of self.
Shaking his head.
Well, before you go,
of it if you want it.
I mean, I would agree with the statement because it comes back to, like you said, if you take action in a path of going into your true self, you're having to be self-disciplined, not to fall into the echoes of society and what other people place on you, allowing your insecurities and your other things to take over elements that you would do. Do you know what I mean? So I think I would definitely agree with the statement. You have to have, I think self-discipline is the definition of self-love. Because I know there are certain elements I'm going to do this or do that, and you don't do them and you feel really annoyed or frustrated with yourself, which is not self-love, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lack of discipline. Like I'm like, oh fuck, why do I keep doing that thing?
Yeah.
Why do I not do that? I know if I do that one thing, it'll get me closer to X, Y, and Z. Why do I stop doing it? And you become frustrated and all this other stuff, right?
The act of discipline, right? So the definition of self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. The example they give is his observance of his diet was a show of tremendous willpower, self-discipline. Now, let's talk about relationships. If we habitually fall into bad relationships through whatever reasons, that's clearly not us being disciplined, is it not?
Fair.
So therefore we're not honouring ourselves. Therefore, do we really love ourselves, or are we really tormenting ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same thing with behaviour. So the way we spend money, or any obsession or drink or drug habit. So the discipline side of it is the honouring of yourself, and you could only really honour yourself if you value and you love yourself. Okay. So any negative proliferation, fear being one of them, that stops you from connecting at your higher self, how would that not feed or be? If you're seeing fear and you see fear, honestly, and something is stopping you from taking action, then you have a self-love issue.
Look,
Are you
agree.
saying if you experience fear, you don't love yourself?
I'm saying if you see fear, then you do have an issue with self-love, and it's something you need to come back to.
Yeah, okay.
If you see fear,
Yeah.
I mean, when
It's the situation we're talking about, without naming names, it wasn't about raising capital yesterday. It was about honouring himself. It was about valuing himself in the eyes of his peers. It wasn't about the money.
do you want to bring some context?
Sure, a friend of ours is pitching to a group of people that he works with for a sum of money, which isn't a lot, and we only found that at the end. And the previous part of that conversation revolved around preparation for this pitch, which he was dealing with his nerves, and also acknowledging that he didn't value himself within the business for a period of time, and he saw this as an avenue to value himself amongst his peers. There was bullshit statements right through that. With all due respect to the person in question.
So bringing it back to the definition, what would self-discipline have in relationship to that?
So to honour yourself at the highest level, right? Which is why I took it to, well, what is the end result? What are you trying to achieve? So
Yeah.
value yourself already.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the default.
So
you
what's
have
a-
value.
What's the practicality? How is it practical? Like how, if you acknowledge it,
Yep.
yeah. How does self-discipline?
So I want to
how
pitch.
do you use
So I want to pitch.
self-discipline?
So I want to pitch an idea to you guys, right?
Yep.
All right. I've got a great new idea. I've seen it around the place. I want to pitch it to you guys. Okay. Why would I want to pitch it to you guys? It's not because I don't believe in the idea or I need you guys to validate me. It's because I think it's a great idea and I want to share it with you. All right? I'm not trying to validate my idea searching or validate my idea in any space or myself. I'm saying I've got a great idea and I want to share this journey with you guys. Do you want to be a part of it?
Okay, fair enough. I agree with that. But and
Yeah?
then
So in the context of a workplace, you know, and I encourage my guys to come to me with ideas. I want to see thought process. I want to see them stretch their minds to improve systems and processes and their own environments. So you encourage that. You know, if you have innovation in your value system, that's what you've got to honour. And they've got innovation in their values. So there shouldn't be anything scary about this. Okay? But the reason why it was is because he didn't value himself prior to. That's the problem. And that's why the fear existed.
okay.
But okay.
So the discipline is to honour yourself. Be good to yourself. Pitch truly, pitch honestly.
But so this is, as if we're going down this line, which is a little bit off topic in my view, but he.
Well, you can bring it back to the topic.
No,
I think
but-
it is on topic.
But my answer is so what,
It's still-
right? Because he's still doing it. He hasn't stopped. He's felt some fear. I missed the first half of this conversation, by the way, yesterday. So, well, take it for. You know,
Hey, our listeners heard none of it, so
yeah, well, no, it's even worse. But like this guy's, this guy's pitch. He's still doing his pitch. He's still out there. Like, so I don't.
No.
You got to feel.
He's doing his pitch. It's the preparation before the pitch, which is the discipline, right? The discipline is the doing. So what the fuck are you doing? And why are you doing it? Discipline is an action.
or
Agreed.
or inaction.
or
Or
inaction.
Yeah.
But I think in this situation and case, we're talking about habits and we're talking about self love, and I think we're talking about the
So you
practical
don't
sense.
think you don't think valuing yourself is a habit?
Yes,
I know plenty of
course it
people that
is.
got bad habits about valuing themselves.
Of course it is, but I think we can bring this into a context that it's very simple, common, and we talk about basic things like brushing
Sure.
teeth, for example. Like I think that's the level that it was designed for, and
No,
because
that's
little
the
things-
level he pitched it at because that's the easiest place to introduce it at.
Exactly.
I think we're a bit more smarter than that.
A bit more smart.
A bit more smarter than that. I was
Maybe not.
going to let it go, but whatever.
I just wasn't.
My grandfather's passed away. He's a grammar teacher. He
Here's-
he had a crack at me, but
Here's a question: Who here thinks that they are not or who can identify? Because we all would be can identify areas where they're not self-loving, i.e., showing a lack of discipline.
Absolutely.
What areas?
God, many. Many. Diet at times. I mean, they're nowhere near the level of discipline that I would like and expect of
so
myself.
I've got a question of you, right? Do you choose to eat or not eat well? Is it a choice you're making?
No.
So you're in autopilot when you go to eat?
Yep.
Okay, I'll buy that then.
That I mean, there's I could provide a lot of work examples. There's many different examples, and I think we come in and out of like how good you're being to yourself. But sure,
yeah.
I think if you're doing it knowingly, and I know at times I spend time in my ego state, and I'm stubborn as fuck at times. I know I'm doing that. I think if you're in knowing control of yourself, that's okay. That's okay.
So it's not. Is it a state that you can forever be in, or no? You flow in and out.
In what, buddy?
Self-love.
I think
self-discipline, because self-discipline is a definition.
Environments challenge you.
Yeah.
I think environments challenge you. I think situations and relationships challenge you. Those circumstances challenge you.
Just life in general.
Life in general. So I've said to people the other day, to me, you might get it right here. So, and I use the kindergarten. You might get self-love about yourself in the kindergarten right to a point, as good as a kindergarten kid could. But then you've got to go into year 1 and you've got to go through the self-love again. Then you've got to go through year 2 and you've got to go through self-love again. So at the different levels life presents you at, you're having to come back and re-examine yourself around those things, because different things are going to take on different shades. But the reality is at the core, it's all the same shit. Just disguised differently, so therefore causes us to pause a bit. All right? Not change tack. Just pause and elaborate to yourself and give yourself the certainty that you can get through that. You can reaffirm yourself and you can get back on that bike again. You don't have to not jump on.
So what's something you think that an area that you think potentially you're not loving yourself enough in?
Me?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's interesting. I'm my biggest critic with taking action. I mean, I've got a lot of balls in the air at the moment, and I probably need some focus. So for me, it's probably just honouring the vision and being more disciplined there.
That's a bit of a weak answer.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
That's self-love.
Well, it's discipline, it's action. If I want to honour myself at my highest level and believe in what I'm trying to actually deliver, if I don't do it, I don't love myself enough. I'm putting myself through the pain of the bullshit. Okay? I'm dealing with the situation I'm dealing with. If I don't get myself out quick enough, I'm going to stay in that shit situation. I don't believe it's a bullshit answer.
No, okay. It's not bullshit, it's correct. I just didn't think there was a lot of context around it.
I can give you context, but we'll probably get sued.
What entity? there isn't one. What about you, Mike?
Yeah. I think the hard road is discipline, is taking the harder road. You're talking about food. Well, I'm pretty good with my food, but I was thinking when you were saying about diets before, Conrad, say giving yourself a treat. You've done well all week, you've got a cheat day. Is that just reaffirming that what you're doing is...
No, you're good with that. If you're allowing yourself to do that, I reckon you're good with that, in my opinion.
But in a way, is that kind of reaffirming that what you're doing isn't good or something like that? The stuff
you just want to have a fucking hamburger. Go and have one.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Don't attach anything to it.
Sauce or cheese, mate.
Do whatever you want with it, mate. You can deep fry the fucking thing.
Pickles?
Pickle.
It doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you're in control of your choice. You're making the choice. You're not an autopilot finding yourself in a McDonald's store and you didn't know how you got there, and you're going to consume three Big Macs in the process.
Yep.
Which is what people do.
I don't know. I'm a little lost on this conversation. Hey, like, I'm not... I appreciate the energy, but I'm struggling to connect with either what you're using the sentence for,
So
or
can I
what
give
we're
some
really
context
struggling.
for you?
What we're really struggling with. Yeah. Oh, lay it on me then. Where am I not showing self-love? I'd love that. Go red team on me.
I'll give you some context for you, and as to your actions in relation to honouring you, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't take the actions you're taking at the moment in relation to...
Just name the actions so that people understand what
I
we're talking
can't
about.
name the action because there's a situation going on.
Oh, are we talking about... Okay, there's a meeting booked for Tuesday where I'm going to hand in my resignation.
Okay,
essentially.
so the issue with that is if you weren't taking that action, then what are you doing? Are you being disciplined enough towards your higher self? Are you honouring yourself enough? Are you loving yourself enough? Or are you just fucking pretending?
Yeah, I struggle with the counter to that, which is, am I being impatient? And
Well, you probably fucking are.
yeah, I am.
You probably are.
No. So let me rephrase. On paper, I am. It's not the right move, but I for some reason
But you're okay
want
with
to do
that?
it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I know
So-
it doesn't
so-
make sense.
So again, it's a choice you're making, knowing that the outcome is whatever the outcome is. It's like having a hamburger.
Yeah.
As long as you're knowingly making the choice, you're in always control. So you're honouring yourself. The right or wrong of it will be whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
If you didn't make the
It's perspective.
decision, then the issue is I would challenge you on the fact that I don't believe you're honouring yourself enough. I think you're just torturing yourself.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the action is what the self-discipline is, honouring towards yourself, your highest vision.
Yeah. And I think you'll always be able to argue either side of it.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Everyone does. That's why we're in the state that we're in, full of unloving people of themselves, dealing with their shit, honouring other people's values and other people's goals and other people's dreams, because they don't want to honour themselves. They don't know what that looks like.
Where do you think that comes from?
It comes from our lives. It comes from our teachers. It comes from our parents. You know, we talked about this today in the office, talking about being creative and being creative genius. And my bookkeeper says, "Oh, I'm not overly creative." I said, "I've seen you do some good
You're
work,
asking your
some
bookkeeper
great
to be a
book
creative
work."
genius?
I've said to her, I've seen you do some great book work. I reckon you're creative."
Should we cut this bit out?
No.
I'll just send a tape to the ATO.
No, but people don't acknowledge your creative side enough. You know, they
No,
are
that's
all
fair.
creative.
Everyone has creative.
Yeah, 100%.
creative side.
And you know, when you don't acknowledge it, then how can you actually feel good about it? And if genius is if genius is where your creative side is, then how can the hell can you be genius? And then where we went to with it was, well, if you don't take action with your creative stuff doesn't mean you're not creative or you're not genius. I said, bloody hell, if you take no action, you can't claim anything. True? I'm a videographer, but I work at Shell. Well, hang on a sec, we work at Shell. What's paying your bills? You can say you're a videographer, it's a passion of yours. You can get like, I go fly kites.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the truth?
Yeah. My main income comes from Shell. I guess I'm proud that then I'm still being truthful when I introduce myself first and foremost
Sure.
as an engineer. But
But to honour your higher self,
to
you're going to
honour
drop
my
that.
higher self, I create the vision and the talk around what I want to be doing, and hence saying
And
that
you
that's
take
what I
actions
do.
towards that.
And I take daily actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't believe you can say you can claim creative genius, even though we all are creative. If you take no actions towards it,
So action is the key.
100%, which is what self-discipline is.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
And I've always been bad
So
with
it's
that.
the action towards what?
Yeah. So you can't just take an action.
Yeah, you
What
can take
is
action to go eat bad food.
it? Yeah.
So that's not an action of self-love. That's an action of self-abuse.
Yeah. But what's the goal, the vision, the
Your
drive,
why.
the drive, the why? Yeah, the why. Can't use. We should have a podcast where we don't use the word why in it.
Hayto, have you got anything to add, or should we just
Very
put
quiet.
this
Very
put this
quiet.
session to bed and move on to the next?
Honestly, I'm happy to put it to bed.
I'm really happy to put it to bed.
Going to bed's a discipline.
It is a discipline.
Yeah.
Sleep's a discipline.
Sleep, Conrad, is a
Um,
discipline.
That segment didn't quite go to where I might have planned it to go, and
You're
I
in
think
charge of it.
Yeah, mate. You bring it to the table. You got to put some.
Is that because we don't love ourselves? Is that why it went like that? Is that, you
no,
know-
I was aiming for some practical discussion around a few of those key metric points.
Well, go on. Well,
Okay.
any.
I got a
I
question.
think we got
it. Do you think it? All right, let me word this correctly. Do you think it's okay to feel those negative emotions occasionally?
Yes, I do, definitely.
Well, because you can't get away from it, because you're going to be
Yeah.
fooling yourself if
Yeah.
you think you can never come across a negative
Yeah.
in your
'Cause,
life.
yeah, personally, like I not like to feel it, but I enjoy feeling it every now and then because it creates a reset for me to enable me to go to where I want to be again. I don't know. It was just
The caveat I have on that is I agree with you guys, but you've got to know where the fuck it's coming from.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. And so you got to dissect it, or
Just know.
analyze it to figure out where
Otherwise,
it is
it
from.
doesn't serve you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which going back to that pitch, right? Sorry to
yeah.
cut in, but that's
Yeah.
where So what if he was feeling some fear? As long
Yeah.
as his action keeps driving towards what he's
Know
trying
where
to
it's
achieve.
coming from.
Yeah.
All right? Know where it's coming from. You step in the ring with Mike Tyson, know he doesn't have a right hook, and he smacks you with one, you'll get knocked out. All right? Fear or anything, if you don't know where it's coming from, is going to stop you. That's where, you get polarised. You procrastinate.
What's the quote? fear with action is courage, or something like that. So if you have fear and you pair it with action, it actually becomes courage. So you sort of we've got to have that emotion first to be able to create that second emotion.
You know why it exists. You know, that's, to me, if you know that shit, you're in the best place possible. You experience it. You're going to feel fear. Fuck, who doesn't? I do, but I know where it comes from. Then you consume it with a bit of sauce.
And pickles.
And champagne.
Pickles and champagne.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, I'll keep quiet for the next section.
Keep quiet.
Marco's up doing
You're
something,
fearful.
so I'll take the lead here. I think JB, you're up next with your.
Yeah, look, I don't know, a lot of that track was interesting. At the end of the day, I think discipline is the key to slowly moving forward to a positive and impactful life. Like, if I look at all the habits and things that I've built over the last 12 or 18 months, they have notched me a little bit closer to myself. And look, I might as well lead that into the segue of what I wanted to talk about and bring up, and hopefully this one doesn't go
Degenerate.
yeah. And I don't know whether it comes out of self-love, but I went through a recent exercise, and I think kind of almost where you were heading, Hayto, about I was feeling annoyed and frustrated with myself as of late, because we're now 5 months into the year, right? I don't even know where this year's gone. And I look back and I'm like, I didn't achieve as much as I could have. If I took certain action on elements, certain things would be done, and yet I'm whinging about them and they're not done, which is a lack of maybe discipline and habits. But I think as well, you can get caught up in the whirlwind of your day-to-day. You can be pulled from different directions, and there's that kind of there's this philosophy, which is a good article, I don't know off the top of my head, it's called the maker's schedule and the manager's schedule. And I actually think we've talked about it maybe in this podcast before, where the day starts to run you and you don't run your day. And that's happened to me a lot of late through some changes that have happened. And it got me. And then I went through this element of kind of self-assessment again, right? So, self-discipline and self-love, you need to have some form of self-awareness to begin with too. And I was questioning, what the fuck am I doing? And then I took a personality test, the Enneagram test, which Conrad's a big fan of. And that got me thinking about a few other things as well. And I had this dilemma of, which I keep coming back to, it's like, what am I made to do? What is the one thing that I'm meant to do? I have this battle between being a creative and running a business. So being a creative as in like sitting there and just doing the work, like as an introvert, creating pretty pictures with no outside nonsense, or being an entrepreneur and a manager or a CEO running an entity. And I get torn between the two, because I equally kind of enjoy them both, but I have, each has their moments, right? There are days where I'm just like exhausted and I just can't be bothered dealing with anyone, talking with anyone. And then there are days where I just want to recluse to a shell and create with no one bugging me and get into that flow state. But then there are other elements where I really enjoy creating a business, helping other people, growing a team. So I went through this exercise of analyzing kind of like, what do I enjoy doing, these other things, and it got to this element, and I was discussing with my wife around this dilemma I was having, because I'm trying to kind of plan it. I was trying to recalibrate myself, like Hayto, you were talking about, and plan kind of like, where do I need to start taking action? Where do I need to start building different habits or building certain disciplines, towards that? And it was these two tracks, and I do a lot of brain dumping, and I wrote down like my ideal kind of work day. And then it came back to this element, which I want to throw around the table, where what kind of helped me make the decision a little bit, because I was just struggling, was and maybe this is a little bit of self-love stuff. We do a lot of things due to, I guess, the things we get ourselves into, mainly around money. Right? We keep moving towards something because we've got responsibilities around a house, so we've got responsibilities around rent, we've got these other elements. And so it came back to this question of like, if you didn't have any concern or worries about money, what would you do with your day? And that question was interesting for me because I've got so many different responsibilities currently. If I stripped it all away, if I woke up and I didn't have to worry about signing that next project, paying people, all these other elements, what would I actually do today? Would I deal with the clients? Would I hire someone to deal with the clients? Would I just do creative work? Do I enjoy doing the creative work? Would I still be in the same job? But it really helped me make a bit of a decision of like, I kept leaning towards the creative, and then I realized, you know what? I probably, if I was to do that for, you know, a period of time, that's probably not what I want, and I would get bored of it. And that question helped me recalibrate in like, you know what? That option was actually the safe option, because right now I'm just feeling uncomfortable about certain things, and that's my safe place because I know I'm good at it. And so asking this question was like, no, you know what? That's actually probably what you prefer and you'd be better at. And that helped me kind of reset myself. And it's just an interesting question. Have you asked yourself that question, and or what would be the answer to that question if you didn't have any concern about, and I think to some degree, Marco, it's a side tack to the question of like, what do you lose time in doing? But this is probably slightly different because, you know, you always have that burden. So I'm just going to, whoever wants to go, if you didn't have the concern or issues with money, what would you be doing? What would you do tomorrow? Would you do the same thing you're doing today?
I'd do the same thing. We've talked about it plenty of times in the office. I mean, we're around lotto winnings usually. Actually, there's a big one tomorrow. Would you turn up the next day? I mean, my answer is I probably would. I love what I do. So, yeah, for me it's a no-brainer.
And that's where it comes down to, are you doing it for the money, number one? Like, I mean, are you purely building a business, 2 businesses, for the money, or for the challenge? Because I think, what was the outcome, Justin? Like, was it, the outcome was you actually enjoy the hustle, the leading the team, doing this? The creative part wasn't what you were looking
I
at.
enjoy it and I'm good at it, and that's why I was defaulting to it, because I'm being challenged to go to the next level. It's a happy place.
Okay.
It satisfies other criteria.
But it's interesting that you went there though, right? It's interesting
Yes.
that you actually thought that's what was showing up.
Yes, and so that was kind of like my default. Whereas if, and this was a stem of the personality type situation as well. I can get some of my needs of affirmation, like love languages. I can get some of my other needs through just doing that, but I know I won't be satisfied due to kind of like my ambitions and the other things I want to contribute towards the larger vision. But this question helped me recalibrate, because I was just either feeling annoyed, and so that was my kind of default, thing. And I think a lot of people sit with that, their default, for too long a period of time.
But is it a default? Like, sorry.
I don't know.
Well, no, question for you. Do you think that
No,
possibly...
answer what would you be doing?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll answer that in a minute, but I thought this is an interesting slant. Are you looking back upon the time that you were able to focus on? So if we rewind 36 months, you're running and starting this business, but you don't have the same level of call inquiry, employees, all these other things. So you're still doing a little bit of the business build, but most of your time is spent creating content as well, or generating. And are you looking back on that time, or are you looking back and are just actually wanting to create the content?
So I get a kick out of other people going, wow, that's great work.
Yeah.
And because when I talk to the creative, there's 80% of it I don't enjoy doing. But I kept wanting to default back to the creative. Like, you know, if you're a photographer or a videographer, there's going to be stuff within that you don't enjoy doing.
Because you know you're good at it.
And I don't enjoy doing 80% of it, but I enjoy the end result and maybe the challenge and overcoming.
And the end result's important.
Yes, but I can get it through other avenues as well. So it's like, that's not really the right path.
I'm trying to tie in the money part, because the question you're
Yes.
asking us is about money.
It is about money.
The stuff you're talking about,
Because it was like, I used the question because I used this to help me, because
okay, yeah. I
if
get it.
money wasn't an issue, what would you actually do? Because I keep telling myself that's what I want, But, you know, like once you strip it all away without having those elements, for me anyway, that helped me recalibrate. Because at the end of the day, when you've got all these, you know, we've all got, money drives a lot of decisions and a lot of things. We get in ourselves into situations and responsibilities. And to me, that was a tool to help recalibrate. And I think, I don't know, whether you ask yourselves these questions, no one is still wanting to tell me what they look like.
I like the question because I'm going through.
Sorry?
I've answered the question.
I just had a mid question in the question. Mike, do you want to go? I'm happy to
Sorry,
answer after Mike.
No, I was just gonna say-
Can we add on a little bit to that? Can we put at the end of it sort of add value to the community or something like that? Because, you know, personally, I would just love to go camping and travel every day. Just go down south and camp and live on the beach and, you know, through the woods. So if money
Would
wasn't
you go
an option,
nuts
I'd
after
do
a while,
that.
though? I reckon,
But could you do that continuously? And maybe that's part of the other element of
Yeah.
it. Like, would you do that for the rest of your life?
I would hope so.
Because we had a similar conversation a while back when Conrad was going through something and he talked about reclusing to an island, and we were all like, no, fuck off, you would not be able to do that. So, you know.
Still haven't written that off, by the way.
Harrison Island.
So could you still do that though
Yeah.
for a long period of time?
I guess that's something that would have to be answered over time.
Would that satisfy you?
Well, that's it. Like, but yeah.
Would you fulfilled? Would you live a great
Or
life?
making a difference. Like you're sort of adding that to what would be the difference you would make to, as you said, the community or the world at large through.
Would you give back to people, or like, would you learn how to do haircuts so you could, give haircuts to the homeless?
Yep.
Would that be your driving, thing, or would it be, still your
We'll leave that in.
Oh, we've got video of today's one, so we can just slow-mo replay that one.
nearly knocked over the champagne glass. Lucky it was empty. Where was I? Is it your kind of day job, inverted commas, of being a financial advisor or a website designer or a that sort of thing? Is that still giving to the community? Is that, I don't know. I just thought that would be an interesting spin on it.
No, it is an interesting spin because that's what part of the track was going down, and that's also part of where I moved away from the creative, because I feel like, I had more to contribute to the greater good. We talked, Jacob had a couple episodes back, he asked what would make a great life, and I made the claim that as long as you leave this place a little bit better, then you've lived a great life. So, but I think money causes a lot of
Just changes decisions, right?
changes decisions. And you need self-discipline.
And like personally, what you're going through, I can relate to a hell of a lot, because I've come from a photography background. I've worked as a photographer for a very long time now, and I've bought another business, and it's more business mindset, and I can feel myself gravitating back to the photography side at times because it is that comfort zone, and it's that that exactly that thing when you give someone a job and they come back and they go, oh, amazing, you do get that dopamine hit. And that's what you get your kick out of. So it's finding that kick out of a different avenue within the business. So just listening to you say that kind of resonated with me a hell of a lot.
And look, maybe I should add another tack to that. Part of this conversation, part of this came up, and why I used that question was I was trying to find what am I good at that I can contribute to, and what can I tailor towards. Like, there's always this play to your strengths, acknowledging your weakness, and I was struggling to go, all right, is that my strength or is that my strength? And that helped me anyway. But, Marco, this is similarly you're going through this for somewhat, right?
Yeah, I feel like, it's another tool that you could use along the lines of, like you said, what do you lose track of time doing?
Because if I asked that question, that wouldn't have helped me with this decision.
It wouldn't have helped you with this one? No, okay. But you're going more towards the business side.
Somewhat.
Yeah, okay. I am trying to take steps towards... Well, I am taking steps towards doing what I would wake up and want to do. At the moment, I wake up every day and I do it. And I don't foresee that ever running out because of a couple of times. Just, I have moments once or twice a week where I'm just like by myself, and a feeling or I see something and I just completely get energized by it, and then have the presence to be like, wow, I've never had that about anything else I've done, and I just continue to have those moments, and so therefore I just continue to build up this confidence in what sounds like on paper, well, what reads on paper a very stupid decision of giving up a very secure income for low contact time to go full into something with no guaranteed work. No, like my level, my actual ability is really, really low compared to the competition, but I can answer the question and say and feel like I go to sleep every day feeling that I'm acting towards honoring the correct answer to that. So I don't know what else I could add there. I'm just feel
don't,
like I'm doing
compare
it.
yourself to people though.
As in terms of the video quality and stuff?
Yeah.
No, of course. I mean,
you can be inspired and motivated by
it
comparing
inspires
is
and
fucking
motivates
nuts.
me, and I get really frustrated when I can't achieve the level. But I understand that that's my journey. It's going to form my style.
Because people are also saying to you at the moment, they can't wait till they produce content like you.
Yeah. You're actually comparing yourself to the person up here at the finished point or the high point of their career versus I can tell you right now, I've seen a lot of people doing what you do that don't do it anywhere near as good as you do already. Yeah. And you're in fairly early stages of the journey.
And I love that. I love the state that I'm in at the moment, which is complete genuine humility of my capabilities, but also with a almost entitled sense of confidence in my own ability and backing myself to go do this. So there's that trade-off between massive ego in my abilities and total humility in recognizing that I'm really, really shit. And I will be for a very long time. And I posted about this when I started posting back on Instagram. I was like, well, it's going to take me so long to get anywhere near as good as I want to be.
You'd be going through some... Have you heard of imposter syndrome?
Yeah, we've discussed it on the show as well.
That must be coming up every now and again.
Yeah, it does.
Questioning
it does
yourself,
for sure.
am I...
Every day.
Yeah. And I really struggle.
It drives people, as well.
Because the type of money that people charge for the stuff that I'm at the moment just giving out, and I hear that people charge for, I'm like, wow, I wouldn't put that value on the work that I do. But maybe I haven't gone through it hardcore because I haven't really charged for anything in serious
You need
amount
to talk to him more about his charging model, Trav.
Yeah, but you'll never truly not be there. Like the imposter syndrome.
Of course you won't be.
I've been in this through 9 years now, and I still go through it. You see some work, and you're like, holy shit, like my stuff is crap. Or you're like, how do I actually make an income of this? Like it's few and far between now, but in the first few years, absolutely. And every year you get 12 months down the track and you go, how the hell did I charge someone for that? I still do it. I look back at my work 2 years ago and I'm like, holy crap.
I look back on the work that I did over summer and charged a company for, and I go, that was 3 months ago. Yeah. And go, wow, I can't believe people. But I at least had the luxury of having seen a video by Peter McKinnon, who I posted something. Is a famous vlogger. And basically he did a video of him just going through his old photos and being like, I genuinely can't believe people pay for this. Everyone goes through it. Yeah. But it's good to have people that just completely blow you out of the water.
Oh yeah. You want to look
awesome.
up to them.
Yeah.
But it's just as long as comparing yourself to them doesn't slow you down.
It doesn't I don't lose motivation from it. I one of the moments I was referring to was at 1 a.m. the other day, and I was like, oh, I probably should go to bed. And I saw something, I watched it for a bit of motivation, and then got so insanely frustrated that I wasn't even close to being able to do it, but so excited that I understood the steps that I could take to get there and try and do it, that I just completely energized me. And I was like, I've never done that about wanting to build a forecasting model at Shell. And then I kept working for another couple of hours and it was great, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the point as well, I think, is, what would you do without having the concern of money? And that's what is also, I think, it holds a lot of people back in pursuing something they do enjoy or that they're good at. In that, just do, and you know, like you're doing a lot of stuff for free, pro bono, all these other elements. If you didn't have some of that mentality, piggyback with that, you'll never get anywhere anyway. And so I think a lot of it, you know, holds you back.
So you say free and pro bono. I say he's investing in his future.
Yeah, look,
It's free for
depends on the
them.
definition. Free for them.
Free for them, but
You're getting the
yeah.
experience.
Mate,
From Marco's
I
point of
completely
view,
understand that. That's why I do
100%.
it, and I value it more because I get creative freedom. When I say, instead of charging people, I say let's do this. But if I don't charge, I get more creative freedom. And Dunk linked me to an article that said that essentially there are 3 things that you should look for in any project. One of them,
Chase Jarvis.
Yeah.
One, wasn't it?
But one key one was that if you're going to charge proper, don't discount. If not, you can retain the creative freedom and do interesting things and build on your portfolio.
I just have a problem with free, I guess.
look,
Well,
from
fine,
Marco's
but
perspective,
whatever,
it's
like-
investment, but from theirs, it's pro bono. It's pro bono work. End of story. So are we all living, you know, our best life without, you know,
Probably
am.
not.
Or if
Conrad
not,
is.
If not, you should have a serious look at yourself in the mirror, shouldn't you?
Yeah,
I suppose
I
that
think.
answers
But
the
is your
question.
answer
Yeah,
is
come
your
back.
answer genuinely yes? I am.
Look,
Everyone
I-
100%.
I don't ever not like, for example, go, oh, I don't want to go in today or whatever. You know, like I definitely don't. But the 100% definite is yes, and I wouldn't change a thing. Like
Okay.
I do really enjoy what I do. There are certain elements that I would change, but
No.
it was, for me, it was a tool to get closer to who am I? What am I here to do? What are my strengths? And how can I contribute back to something rather than just sit and make... It was... We'll go to Matt to finalise, wrap out, but it was kind of like started with
I've
the
heard from
tra-
Matt.
Boom, chicka, chicka, whoa.
Yeah.
So,
I was looking to wrap out as well.
and it was down the track of like, you know, if you want, like Michael, you're doing, you know, the videography thing as an example, and Conrad, financial planning. But, you know, am I going to be the best? Can I be the best at that? And am I going to be able to contribute positively to the world by doing that or this? And that helped as well with the money situation, you know. So
Why the best? Why does that come into it?
because if I'm going to go all in, you know, is that what I'm built for? Do you know what I mean? Like it's that self-awareness element of, you know, it's that process or the journey of trying to identify what am I going to be able to contribute to
The best version of yourself. I think
Yes.
that's what we should all be aiming for. I mean, but to be the best is a byproduct of, you know, a lot of other things. Yeah,
So,
but you can still honour the best version of yourself. That's very attainable.
Yeah, and I think it was coming back to satisfying, you know, again, self-awareness. What are my needs? What do I enjoy? What gets me going? What's a kick?
What gets your juices flowing?
That's right. Anyway,
What gets your juices flowing, man?
No, look, I've actually asked myself that question quite a few times over, you know, at least sort of 10 years worth of being in a few different businesses, and I have jumped between complete different industries, and I've got to a point where I just think whatever it is I'm doing is what I should be doing. I've made many decisions in every instance to get to that point, and I've moved on to a path that I'm there for a reason. So if all of a sudden I had got more resource, I probably wouldn't turn up tomorrow. I'd take a week off, but you know, after that, I would
Jeez,
come
you're not
back.
in it for real then, mate.
Yeah, man, that's like, I want to explore that. Why wouldn't you rock up the next day?
'Cause I would just blow the fuck
Hayto
up,
wants
mate.
to
I'd
go
go
down
hire
south.
people. I'd go and do some shit. I'd
No one
just
gave
go
a shit
next
there.
level straight up.
I'd
What's
be in a
that?
combi with a little cooktop.
You're right. Is that
why I
not
would-
admitting that you're not in it for being in it? Like, are you?
No, not at
would
all.
you-
That's a flip side reward to go. You know what? There's a chance to take
What's
my
the
family.
reward? The reward meaning
The reward
that-
is for my family to go away for a week and have an additional
Give them
holiday
the tickets,
with my
mate. I'll be
pay.
at work
Um,
doing the shit.
Yeah, you'd be doing the shit at work, would you? No, I would obviously come back and change things, and if I had additional resource in my business, that my day would look
Would you
different.
hire me?
As
I don't care.
Cleaner.
potentially. But
No, janitor, like a proper janitor.
I'm a dead set cleaner. Hey, I don't mix that word.
Uber driver.
I probably would in some capacity.
I'd like to work with you.
I'd like to work with you too. What I would,
This is so nice, guys.
isn't it so nice? But,
Get to the point.
I tried to get to the point. My point was, sure, look, some additional resource would change the way I would go about things a little bit, clearly, and we'd all do that, right? Like
100%.
Marco would have a different level of equipment in his bag, and we'd all have something else
I'd have
that
an
was
office.
going to assist us. You have an office.
With beanbags.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
But I
just
wouldn't-
aside to the point.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Go on,
I wouldn't
nail
change.
him. Okay, nail him. Ask the question.
I don't know. I just feel like
Go on.
gut feel. I feel like you wouldn't. You would do something else. But I can't.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
The intuition, gut feel
Yeah.
I'm getting is that you would do something else.
Yeah,
and that's
I just-
cool. I'd love to know
And
what it is, though.
I wish you would just come to the table with that, because it's okay.
My vision for the business I'm currently running
Yeah.
is to build a kick-ass marketing team that I can use to go and
Great,
buy.
no worries. But if money wasn't a problem, let's say that's done. Money wasn't a problem, that's already happened. What the fuck would you do?
To use it to buy other businesses and grow
What? So what
them.
other businesses? What?
It doesn't matter
Like
to
buying-
me.
It does.
No,
what?
because
What
no,
do you want to do, man?
I like growing shit. That's
What?
the part
Marijuana?
No, I love the game of business.
Come on, man,
I,
nail it. What do you want? What industry you want to be the fucking bomb at? What do you want to do?
I'm doing it. I'm on the same journey that I want to continue to do it. I want
It's
to.
bullshit, man.
It's not
Yeah,
bullshit.
I'm
No,
calling bullshit.
I don't have an industry
I'm
that
going to turn my mic off and
It's
walk
hard
out.
because Matt's staff have to hear the podcast. As
No,
well.
no. This is real. I just said the preface is you're honouring this business, but what the fuck is
Yeah,
it you
true.
want to do?
True.
What do I want to do? It truly doesn't matter. I want to build out a portfolio of
Yeah, I don't
other
know.
businesses. I enjoy doing it.
Which
but-
business would you go for first? What industry would you go to first? Say it. I know what you're going to say. Say it.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say. Say it.
I'd love to hear it because I
You'd
don't
love to go out and develop stuff, wouldn't you?
Oh,
You'd like
property
to-
development, definitely.
Fucking hell, man. Let's name it.
Yeah, but that's only one piece of the pie.
So that's where you're going to go to, though. That's your passion. You love that shit.
I love all of it.
Okay. I'm
So
sorry I
it's
had to
not-
point it out to you.
No, it's not. I've done that before, and I plan
And you
on
would
doing
go
it
straight
again.
back to it. You've said it to me.
Correct.
FYI, I'm the host, but I'm going to allow this.
No, but that's not.
And that's cool. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That doesn't demean your staff. That means that you're going to take this shit, you're going to make this pump, and you're going to go and kick some time over somewhere else doing what you love fucking doing.
But I have no intention of stopping this either.
No, I didn't say that.
No, but that's an additional thing that I would
Exactly.
like to have.
So if you had
in
no
my-
money issues, what the fuck would you do? You'd go out and do some development shit.
Yeah, I'd be doing. Yeah,
Great.
both.
Done.
Well, the answer is you wouldn't be doing this,
He'd let this run. He'd put someone in here, he'll
Yeah.
do what he has to do, and he'll go and do that.
which is cool. I just felt that was the answer, and we weren't getting it.
I think it's part of the answer. Sure, if
I
that
think
gives a
I-
specific outcome, but it's not. It is bigger than that, and that's okay. So I will,
You
that
can
wasn't
bring it
trying
back to the muddy water again.
I was- no,
I love
I'm
the
trying to
clarity
hide
you
it.
gave me about developing property. I like that. I'd invest in you.
You will.
I'd go after dodgy finance companies.
I don't have any of those.
Like the ones with inspired in their name.
I'm not
We gotta-
getting into that one.
We do. So we've just grilled Matt, but we've got another 7 minutes ish. Hayto, your answer was I'm gonna go camping, and then you're like, but guys, let's all kumbaya and help the world. Whereas like
What does Hayden want to do?
for me, I struggle. First of all, I struggle because like I like making videos, and apart from making people feel warm and fuzzy, it potentially doesn't do a whole lot of good for the world. Well, it definitely doesn't do a whole lot of good for the world.
It does.
But-
It does too.
Depends
What
who
do
you're
you
making
mean?
fun
What
of.
do you mean?
It
That
doesn't-
message you got back from that buddy, you made it feel good.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah, Marco.
But I feel like
Marco.
no, fuck you, Trav. We're going on you now, not me. So
It's very
why would
fitting
you
because
camping?
can we wrap this up? Because I'm actually going down south right now. I'm going to Margaret River.
All right.
So, no, but yeah, grill me. Go for it. Let's do it.
No. Like, why would you just go camping?
I don't know.
Mate, you're a bloke that
Love
takes
it.
10 weeks holiday a year. Why do you need to take a break?
No, it's not about break. That's just something I really love doing.
So why don't you just do it? Why don't you just start a photography blog?
Yeah,
And travel.
He has, mate. He kisses around the world. That's what he does.
Exactly. No, I do like my day-to-day routine of shooting. I love shooting people. I love meeting people. My job, I get to meet a hell of a lot of different people, from a professor that studies butterflies to people that are in old retirement village homes, and I get to hear a lot of stories. I really enjoy that. So I wouldn't say, yeah, it's probably a bit of a joke in a way as well.
Okay.
But yeah, there would be an element of chilling out in a combi van.
But I guess you have that. You already have that element.
Yeah.
Because each year you take about 10 weeks to go
Oh.
travelling.
Has
is it, or
done.
6?
Not every year, but
Just the last 3 or 4 years.
we did it for a while because we don't have any children and no mortgage
Yeah,
and stuff
Winston.
like that. So yeah, well, Winston's come along now.
Winston the cat.
The cat is a cat, but
But I guess that's the point. So would you continually travel all year round if money was not an issue?
I don't think I'd travel all year round. I think I'd have definitely a base of home and routine.
But you love traveling, right?
Because
I do love travelling.
honestly, you would have been out of this group,
Yeah.
and Conrad, you come second in this.
Fuck.
You're
Why?
the person that I would have believed the most that wouldn't change a thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so I was really surprised to hear that you were. But if you were just making a joke, then fine. But
Oh, it is and it isn't. Like, it's funny because when we travel, I love meeting people. So we stay at hostels to meet people. We sit on the bus and we sit next to people to meet people and just like drum up conversation and just chat to random people.
Yeah.
Like that's like one thing I love about traveling. So I guess that translates into my normal life. Like I just love meeting different random people. So yes and no.
Yeah.
I think there's an element of, what you could probably do it for 2 or 3 years, like just go traveling for 2 or 3 years, then you'd come back and I'd probably do the exact same thing I'm doing right now.
yeah, and I think, yeah, fair enough.
So,
and the stuff, it'd change as well. You do something for 2 or 3 years, it's okay for it to change. But I guess as long as this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't mean to preach, but as long as you believe that this is what you would do for the rest of your life, then you're doing the right thing by you then.
Yeah.
Because I could very easily stay in my job because I think I need the money down the track, which I probably will, but... but fuck you, future Marco. Recorded here. I'm going to play that to myself in like 5-10 years.
Oh, hang on, what about the community piece? What about the tack the bit on the end? We all need to be...
It's funny, like you say that, because I was just sitting here thinking about that and I was like, if money was not an option, would I do something to give back more? Yes, I would. That's one thing that probably irks me at the moment, is that my life choices, yes, I play basketball, running businesses and stuff like that. I don't have the discipline in myself to make more time to give back more than I already am. That's one thing that doesn't sit well with me currently. So that's one thing I would change for sure. And whether that's, like working with, I don't know, whatever I want to do, it would probably be something drug related, to be honest, for me, because that's close to home, in drug rehab and that sort of stuff. So yes, that would be one thing definitely I would certainly change, or I would give back to more.
It's such an easy thing to build in.
Yeah.
It is really easy.
Yeah.
Like I haven't looked into it. I went through a bit of that and realised that. So with Orange Sky, I was doing Orange Sky. Mike, are you still doing Orange Sky?
No, I'm doing the mentoring.
Okay, cool.
12 buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could find it.
Yeah.
It doesn't take not having to worry about money,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one probably aspect of my life that I haven't
Yeah.
got in there right, and I'm happy with.
So is there a group that you want to support? Have you looked into that to that point yet?
Not for a while. I did a couple of years ago. And but I haven't gotten to that
But I
state
think
yet.
this is what, for me, made this a really great question to help just recalibrate some of those things. And then you can build the steps and start taking the discipline or the action or build the habits towards moving towards whatever that looks like. And take the courage of quitting your job or doing something that you enjoy to just slowly move the needle or, again, we had self-awareness was a big topic in our early podcasts, and to me it's a good self-awareness tool to keep asking yourself, because people get frustrated or compare or measure themselves to certain elements, and it's like we've talked about strip it all away and who gives a shit and for what and why, who cares. Don't let something like that hold you back. I mean, even then, just on that challenge, I mean, really, if you wanted to give back to some degree, you could.
Exactly.
No, you can.
Yeah.
You definitely can.
Guess what the phone call's going to be tomorrow to him?
Yeah. And I'm just saying, and I totally acknowledge it's inaction on my behalf, but I've chosen
self-discipline.
I've chosen that
It's
inaction as well, because I've prioritised my life for the next 5 years, and I've acknowledged that that's probably not the thing that's in my top 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you can do small things towards that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I still have acknowledged that in
But-
my
but
thought process.
clearly you just don't want to do it enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's it.
100%.
Fine.
Right now, but it is something that's there that I will do one day, or in the next.
Are you satisfied, Marco?
Well, I think it's a bit bullshit that you throw it into the question of like, oh, if you're not going to do anything, then let's help the world when you're not actually doing it yourself. But apart from that, yeah, I think it's a fair answer.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
I think. Oh, how was the champagne, guys?
Nice.
Dry glasses.
Great.
Conrad, do you want a little bit more?
He's
I
still got
wouldn't
some.
say no.
Yeah, okay,
To be
cool.
honest, next time
It's at you.
don't bring my way. Just bring Dom Perignon. I
Yeah,
don't stuff
well,
with
the
that
original.
kind of cheap stuff.
I know. I'm sorry.
for the 30th episode.
It was a joke, but you can bring it.
We can, yeah.
You got-
Conrad,
you
you'll be on booze that week and hosting, and we won't even need to show up because you'll just talk the whole hour anyway. That's a wrap.
Shut his mic down, mate.
That is a wrap on episode 23. Thanks everybody for coming along, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you next time.
Bye.
Champagne.
I'm not saying anything.